The Mercedes getting impatient and going past. But meanwhile, we have the Lotus car. Unfortunately, there's no blown diffuser on this car, so I don't know if you want me to do a little mimic of it, but I'll see what I can do. As he heads out of Aqua Minerale, the blown diffuser would sound something like this. As he heads over the turtles and down to Ravazza. Ravazza obviously being one corner, but the reason why they say it's Ravazza 1 and 2 is because it's two apexes. So this is the first one, and then as he goes a bit down the straight, it's the second one, similar to Degner, where they have Degner 1 and 2. It's a double apex corner, but they kind of say it as Degner 1 is in the first apex, Degner 2 is the second apex. So yeah, there's some fun corner name facts for you. As heading to Piratella with the Brawn, the 2009 Formula 1 champion, is heading down the hill. There's a yellow flag again. That's for Matty coming out the pits, it looks like. As we have Lewis having a lag reliability issues for Missile, having a disconnection DNF. So not nice for him. As we head down the hill, we head out of the Ravazza corners and down the straight with the Brawn. Will he take pole position from the Jordan? No, he won't. I think he's starting a lap again. So we'll watch for that one. Meanwhile, the Mercedes just behind him. Actually, no, we'll keep with the Brawn. And they nearly make contact, actually. This is going to be very tight. They're both on flying laps. Lucky and Devons. Devons on the inside of the Villeneuve chicane, ahead of the Mercedes, who backs out of his lap. That got very hairy. As we head around Toza with the Brawn. Heading up to Piratella. And now out of Piratella into Aqua Minerale. And then down through this complex and up into the Turtles chicane. As into the chicane. Lovely done for Brawn, who is the team with the lowest budget to win an F1 championship since the 1950s with Matra. As we head over the line with the Brawn then. Will he take pole position? He doesn't again. It looks like he's going for yet another lap. As he heads into turn 1 again. Matty as well, he's on a lap. So we're going to watch for the Jordan, see if he does anything. Phoenix as well, he's on a lap as well. The Ferrari, the Brawn, the Jordan, all on laps. This qualifying session is heating up. Ironically, as it's apparently about to rain soon enough. Heading out of the chicane. Down the hill into the Ravazza braking zone. Heading over the line then for the Jordan. Where will it put him? It doesn't put him any higher up the order. For now. The Brawn though, over the Turtle chicane. Really using those curves as a yellow flag. It could be for... It's for the Jordan backing out, so that means the Brawn into the Ravazza corner, downshifting through this double left-hander, now down into the right-hander King. Is it going to put him on pole? It does! By half a second. Devons defeats Matty. Nicely done, although Phoenix might have something to say about that. Can Phoenix extinguish that pole? Can he get a second up? No, he can't. I think he's going for another lap. Meanwhile, the Lotus and the Mercedes, both on laps. Let's have a look at the Lotus. Lotus, who won the championship in 1963, won their first Constructors' Championship in 1963 with Jim Clark and the Climax chassis, if I'm pronouncing that right. No, it's a Climax engine, should I say. So with the Climax engine, the Lotus team won their first championship in 1963. There's a yellow flag for Phoenix, who's had an off on his lap at the Villeneuve chicane. So yellow flags down there. As Ferrari, who won the championship in 1964, a year after Lotus. Obviously it wasn't their first one, but it was the one that John Surtees and Lorenzo Bandini won in 1964. Meanwhile, the Lotus, repeating the efforts of 1965, not quite to the same level, as he's P4 at the moment. But heading down the hill there, we have the Jordan. We have, very aggressive through the first two corners at the Tamburello chicane. Actually, that reminds me, Timen completed his lap but didn't go any faster in the Mercedes. There's the other Mercedes coming out. We have Phoenix come out of the final corner and coming into the pits. We have Matty, TCL Matty out of Tosa. This happened where, obviously, the ELMS race as well here, which was absolute carnage. As into the Villeneuve chicane, we had the M racing car heading into the Villeneuve chicane sideways, nearly collecting another car in the process. But also in the World Endurance Championship as well, the 6 hours of Imola, the battle between Antonio Fuoco and Sebastian Buemi was absolutely beautiful stuff to watch. One of the highlights of my year, to be honest, is watching that battle in the 6 hours of Imola. Obviously, Ravazza, this was the scene of Valentino Rossi crashing into the number 21 Ferrari in the 6 hours of Imola, but will Imola also see Matty on pole again? They won't for now. Still half a second down. He's on another lap, though. He's going to keep going. The Lotus, though, but the 15.5... doesn't upgrade it. It looks like he's doing another lap as well. Tim Endo over the line, gets a 1:20.3, improves his time, doesn't improve his position. His teammate's still in front of him on an outlap. The Lotus slow, and actually, might have to get out of the way quick here. There's a Mercedes on the inside. That looks very scary for the 54 Mercedes. Devons retires from the session. Devons doesn't take any further part in the session. Devons, I still don't know if he's from Devon or if he's in Devon, but if he is, then he's probably gone and had a pasty. But I also live down in Devon as well, so that's something to think about. But anyway, Jordan, the Jordan coming over into the left-right complex, and Jordan, who nearly won the title in 1999. Obviously they had Michael Schumacher, Eddie Irvine and Mika Salo beat them to it, as well as the McLarens as well. But yeah, Jordan, can they maybe clinch pole position? No, they can't. Oh no, he's just got to the line beforehand, so Matty gets another lap in. Can Matty take pole position? FedEx is done. He won't take any further part. Will the Lotus get another lap in? That doesn't look like he's improving. I don't think he is, so can Lucky get lucky and put that Mercedes back to where it belongs? No, he can't. He's put it in the wall. That's well, lucky low. He went all the way. Wow. that was a similar crash to what a Cadillac had in FP3 for the 6 hours of Imola in 2025. I think, if I'm not wrong, it was El Bamba. But heading out of Acqua Minerale and into the Turtle chicane, the last person who can complete a lap is Matty. He's really going for it and he's backed off. He's backed off. So that looks like Devons will take pole position for the first Imola Grand Prix here in Retro Racing. And at the track where I myself took my first pole position in league racing in ALR in Season 2, here in Retro Racing, Devons will repeat the same feat that I fell as well. Devons, welcome to the club of pole position at Imola on F124. Matty wasn't able to get Devons, but it does set up a great battle in what I hear to be wet conditions. It's a front row for its pole position for the 2009 Formula 1 Constructors Champions, and it's second place for the what is now known as Aston Martin, but is here in Retro Racing is known as Jordan. The Ferrari in third. Then comes the Lotus in fourth. Then comes the two Mercedes. Then comes the Benetton, then the two Mercedes behind that. So, yeah. Fun fact about Lotus: they won their first 2 championships with Climax engines, but then they won their 3rd championship in 1968 with a Ford engine, and Ford would also win a further 3 championships after that, but with different teams. They won with Lotus in 1968, they won with Matra in 1969, they won with Lotus again in 1970, then they won with Tyrrell in 1971, then they won with Lotus again in 1972 and 3, but 4 and 5 lights are on, and we're away for retro racing, and the Jordan gets away well, the Brawn gets away well, the Jordan gets away kind of well, but not as well enough to get ahead of Devons, heading into turn 1, they're side by side, round the outside for the Jordan, it's not going to make the move stick. Ghosting there, are they going to make it work? Heading through the temporary chicane, they're dancing on thin ice, but the Lotus gets ahead of the Jordan. Massive upset there, so there's front wing damage on the Jordan of Matty, as there's chaos at the back. One of the Mercedes going a little bit squirmish in the background, as going wide out of Toza. I think that looked like Lucky going a bit on the high side of Toza. Meanwhile, the Lotus battling the Brawn, and while Lotus technically did battle Brawn under the Renault name in 2009, this team now looking to maybe get ahead of the Brawn, and 2 teams that have won Constructors' Championships in Formula 1 are now battling at the front here in retro racing. Meanwhile, 2 cars behind that, the Benetton and the Ferrari, side by side as they go over the chicane, and they all go wide on the exit of the Turtle chicane. Meanwhile, the Brawn and the Lotus side by side into the first of the Ravazza apexes, into the second Ravazza. Side by side, there's contact at the back. I think that looks like maybe one of the Ferraris round. There's front wing damage. Lucky as well. Lucky is round. Into the pits for Matty. Into the pits for Felix. And into the lead for the Lotus. The Lotus, no, he was in the lead, now he's been taken again by Devons. Devons defeats the Lotus, and Bios says bye to the win for now here on lap 2 of 63. Heading through the Villeneuve chicane, they tiptoe through, as the Benetton in the background of Missile, who didn't get higher than 4th last time out in Japan before he DNF'd in spectacular fashion. But now, Devons is looking to maybe hold off the Lotus, and Missile is looking to maybe have a podium provisionally, but wide for the Brawn. That's going to put him out of shape, heading down into Aqua Minerale. They have to be careful, because any little misinput here, and they will just go careering into a wall or another car. There's another yellow flag out. Not too sure who's for. It's for Felix. The Ferrari of Felix has had a little bit of a fail through turn 3, and he now heads into the Villeneuve chicane, and at the track that Gilles Villeneuve last raced at before he tragically passed away. The Ferrari having a bit of a spin there, not very nice at all. Meanwhile, the closest battle on track is still roaring. Fastest lap of the race for Devons. I don't think they'll be able to defend though from the Lotus. DRS isn't available until next lap, the detection zone is on the last corner, so as they go down the straight to end this lap and start the next lap, they head out of turn 3. The Lotus still trying to bear down the neck of the McLaren, as apparently this car here, it's a Red Bull, and that we explain why it looks a bit blue. So actually, all that stuff I said about Lotus, forget about it. So the Red Bull. So this is like a 2009 championship battle then in that case. The Red Bull versus the Brawn. Sebastian Vettel versus no, it was Mark Webber versus Jenson Button in 2009, but now it's Bios versus Devons. There's a swap of positions as Matty and the Jordan, the winner from Japan, pits. The Lotus looking to maybe hunt down the Brawn. Missile behind that as well. The third and fourth place men are both separated by 5 seconds. Then Lucky about a second half behind his teammate. The Red Bull though looking to go past the Brawn car. Can he maybe get the move done? Another fastest lap set here on lap 4. But he does. Oh, there's no DRS because it's in the rain, isn't it? I just realised that. So we head through turn 3. The Red Bull squamish heading out of turn 3. And the car that took pole position in real life F1 today in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Formula 1 is now trying to hunt down the Brawn car in retro racing. There's been 2 offs. One of them was for Missile nearly spinning. The other one was for Timman, who has had a bit of a treacherous spin. And now he's got his teammate bearing down his neck as well. Both Mercedes very close to each other. Meanwhile, Phoenix, Matty struggling. The closest battle on track still being this battle with the Red Bull and the Brawn. Devons versus Bryce. Missile gets a penalty. The third driver in the race to get a penalty. As Red Bull obviously partnering with Ford next season, who, as I mentioned, have a lot of championships in the late 60s, early 70s era of F1. So looking to come back strong next year in 2026. But can Red Bull use their current power unit in retro racing, the spec Renault engine used in the game? And can he use it to great effect to get past the other Renault engine, Brawn? Yes, he can. He's to the inside. The Red Bull looking to get out of the Brawn. The Brawn hangs it around the outside. Classy move by the Brawn. But will it pay off as they head into the Villeneuve chicane? Turn 4 and 5. That's side by side. That's risky stuff. They're ice skating through turn 4 and 5. The Brawn goes wide. That invites the Red Bull round the outside. Can he get the move done? Yes, he can. It's a bit messy. They're side by side. They've got through it cleaner than me and Gaggles were able to do in ALR Season 2. And the Red Bull gets past the Brawn in a beautifully executed move. Got messy at times, but in the end, after a long struggle, the Red Bull got the move done. Or did he? He's thrown it all away as he's had a slide through Aqua Minerale, and the Brawn gets back past through. Ross Brawn grins in delight. Christian Horner looks in disappointment again, although he might be looking to smile again as the Red Bull goes back past the Brawn. The energy drinks company gets back past Ross Brawn's £1 dream team. And they touch again as there's yellow flags again. Not too sure who for. But meanwhile, the Red Bull, who's won, I think 7 Constructors' Championships in Formula 1, has now been passed by its title rival in 2009. And the order of the Brawn and the Red Bull is the same as it was in 2009. As the Brawn gets ahead of the Red Bull. And the Red Bull, though, look to the inside again of the Villeneuve chicane. And Gilles Villeneuve, if he was watching this, he would even be scared as they head through the chicane that's named after the legendary Ferrari driver. But the Red Bull stays ahead of the Brawn. But can the Brawn just keep the car in a straight line for as long as he can? As the Ferrari wearing a Senna helmet in the Ferrari. As we head through into the chicane with turtle curbs. As Matty's out, the Jordan retires. As Jordan hearts sink, and it's another DNF for a Jordan team, which is now known as Aston Martin. And another league racing DNF for that team. Earlier on it was in Prime Racing League and F1 24 with myself driving, and now it's with Matty, and obviously Aston Martin would become Jordan after an array of name changes. So in a way, a sim racing night to forget for the Aston Martin / Jordan squad. Heading now down as the Red Bull getting squirmy in the background. The Brawn staying in front. So obviously you can, and the Red Bull again. You can see the Red Bull in the background just dancing around. As yeah, the Red Bull looking like, doesn't look like he's on wings. It looks like he's on other stuff. It looks like he's on rich energy. Anyway, as there's off there for the Benetton of Mistel, as Lewis has hit the gravel. Pause for laughter. As we head through Toza with Mistel, otherwise known as Lewis Hit. Do you get the joke now? As we head out of Toza with Lewis Hit, who's gone off the grass and hit a couple daisies. And now Lucky Timman looking to jump the Benetton. There's a yellow flag again. What's that for? It looks like maybe for, not for Phoenix, as Phoenix comes into the pits, serving a penalty it looks like. That's a long hold for the penalty. Out the pits finally for Phoenix, who gets off the... He's on dry tyres! Phoenix on dry tyres. Very important for this race. Let me just get the detail up of the tyre graphic. Medium tyres for Phoenix. He's going to be the guinea pig for everyone else now. If he becomes the fastest driver on track, if his name tag goes purple, then Phoenix will most definitely be the guinea pig in deciding when everyone else pits, and DRS is enabled. Phoenix could get back into this race. Mistel in the pits. Lucky doesn't pit. The Mercedes doesn't pit. This is the crossover point, I would say. I think Lucky's made a mistake in missing the pits there. I think he has. I hate to say it, but the Benetton and the Ferrari looks like they've made the right choice. It looks like they have made the right choice as they head through the chicane. The Brawn and the Red Bull both looking like they're going to have to dive into the pits here and make a stop. As heading through the Ravazza corners into the pits for the Brawn. Does the Red Bull come into the pits? Yes, he does. Does Timman come into the pits? We'll see later on. Lucky didn't come into the pits, and he's regressing it by going on the grass. As into the pits for the Red Bull. As hard tyres for the Brawn, hard tyres for the Red Bull. 5th and 6th placemen on mediums, 3rd and 4th placemen on inters, 1st and 2nd placemen on hards, otherwise known as prime tyres for this race. Interesting. As there's the Mercedes. Both Mercedes are going to have to come in now. There's the other Mercedes crawling to the pits. And he gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Lucky. Being unlucky. As that means the Benetton's going to undercut both Mercedes here by doing that early stop. Very nice strategy there by Mistel. Let's just check if Phoenix as well. Could he maybe catch from the Mercedes? He's a bit far back. Let me turn the track map on, that would help. The Mercedes are those black dots on the straight near closest to the one. And as you can see, Phoenix not really close to them. This other dot here, this slightly greyer dot, this is the Red Bull that you're looking at now, which I thought was a Lotus, but it turns out to be a Red Bull. I feel like that shade of orange might need to be changed to more of a shade of yellow, but enough with the artistic criticism. Timmen still on the inters. That seems like a strategy mistake by Mercedes, and I have to say they are quite prone to it. They have been quite prone to it over the last few years, especially even in their dominant era in 2016. As I've just got word that there's someone who could potentially be joining Retro Racing, someone who runs MCL and someone who I've raced with a lot in here. His name is Lando, otherwise known as Exact Max. You might know him in the chat. So yeah, I've invited him. So maybe see his car on the grid sometime soon. But meanwhile, back to the action. Timmen missing the pits again. Why is he doing this? Does he know something that we don't know, or is he allergic to pitting? Not too sure. But it's interesting. And someone's off. The Benetton. The Benetton of Mistel missiles it into the wall and kisses the Rolex barrier. Does he have damage? Looks like no for the moment, but he's definitely damaged his chance at racing with Timmen, who's still out on those inters, which is something that I cannot comprehend. The Ferrari of Phoenix absolutely pushing. DXR CS has left the session. He would have been the Williams driver if I'm not mistaken. He was the Williams driver in Japan who, if you don't remember, caused chaos in Japan, but with his blue flags. There's Lando. It looks like he's joining the server. So we'll see his car next time out in round 3 of this league on Saturday the 27th of September. As also interesting, an interesting thing today, an interesting event that's happening today and tomorrow is the Watergate Base Sprint, which I did have an opportunity to go and commentate at, but I unfortunately couldn't due to transport reasons. But I'm hoping to hopefully help out at the Riley Car Rally for the Plymouth Motor Club. As meanwhile, Timmen finally pits onto dry tyres, as he finally does see some sense in dry tyres. Bit of a late call, I must say. As now Lucky behind the Benetton, who now is back ahead of the Mercedes. Yeah, as I was saying, so the Watergate Base Sprint is happening today. I'm hoping to help out the Riley Car Rally as the Ferrari gets ahead of Timmen, as the man who's 6 places ahead of Timmen, Devons, who's just at the fastest lap again. Yeah, the Watergate Base Sprint, that's happening today and tomorrow. There's the Riley Car 12 car rally for the Plymouth Motor Club, which is happening on Halloween, which I might be able to help out with, might not be able to though. As also, I've been lucky enough to be invited to Brands Hatch to do an 8-hour race, a 500-minute race known as the Enduro Car 500. And if you're wondering what the car means, it means Ford car, as in the 2004 road car known as Ford car, as in KA. It's quite mental. 500 minutes of the Brands Hatch Indy circuit in these kind of classic, I guess, touring cars, but not touring cars as in not British Touring Car Championship cars, but as in just kind of road cars that you tour around public areas at. Pardon me. But we head through turn 3 into the Villeneuve chicane with the Mercedes. But yeah, if I can find a way to stream the event or make a video of it, then I will, and I'll let you all know if you are interested in that. So, as Lando asking if we should make a team and drive for it, I would like to stay on the commentary side for this, but don't mind running a team with you, depending on if we can run a team or not, because there is a lot of teams on the grid already. A lot of teams that I can read to you now, known as Ferrari, Brawn, Red Bull, Mercedes, Benetton, Jordan, which is unfortunately retired from the session today, McLaren, Williams, Renault is in here, Jordan, as I said. So yeah, there's a lot of competition. So if you can make a team, that would be good. If you can't, I wouldn't be surprised, because that does look like a lot of teams. Meanwhile, it looks like there's some commotion going on here. I think Timmen's about to be lapped by the Brawn of Devons. Now, I wouldn't normally be too excited about this, but given what happened with DXRSC in the last race in Japan, a blue flag could maybe change the entire complexion of the race. But ghosting's on, which is ruined all the fun and entertainment off of it. So, meanwhile, Tiben's teammate Lucky, well, that's an unlucky one, isn't it? He's around at the Villeneuve chicane, and he's now heading into Toza, a bit further back from Mistel than he would like to be. The Red Bull, though, he's keeping Devons honest in terms of the gap. He's not letting him run too far away. But it looks like he's just going for a stage of managing his tyres, just getting through the race until the end stint where he does really need to push. So we head up into Veritella with the Red Bull and the Brawn. The Red Bull obviously winning a lot of championships with the German of Sebastian Vettel and the Dutchman at the moment of Max Verstappen. But they've also had some other really notable drivers. David Coulthard, who was the teammate of the 1999/1998 champion Mika Häkkinen back in McLaren. They also had Mark Webber, who, like Felipe Massa in a lot of ways, could have been a champion if things had gone differently in 2010. And they've also had other drivers like Alex Albon and things like that, and Daniel Ricciardo most notably as well, who I think made a mistake by leaving Red Bull to go to Renault in 2019. I think that will be something that he would regret, but yeah, we all love Daniel Ricciardo, and he says he's done with racing for now. We wish him farewell. His smile will forever stretch in our memory as we head in to the Villeneuve chicane with the Red Bull and the Brawn, who are now both catching the Ferrari of Phoenix. It's almost like a two-class race, the 2009 class, and then everyone else behind. Obviously, the Ferrari was on the grid in 2009, but obviously it's not really up there in class right now. But as we head through, the Aqua Minerale bit. So that's the purple second sector for Bias. He looks like he's pushing again to catch up there. There's a penalty for Devons, actually. Should we show how much that is? As the fastest lap point does go to Bias now as well. I think I'm saying that right. I might not be though. As there is a 3-second penalty. So on the aggregate, unless that penalty gets taken off, Devons is losing the race right now to the man who currently holds the fastest lap with a massively improved time of a 1:19.4. That's almost 6 tenths quicker than his. That's over 6 tenths quicker than his previous best time. That's I'm just gonna. Wait, what? How does the bot work if it's F1 to 84? Well, F1 World, isn't it? Anyway. I'll read in the chat. Anyway. I'm going to ask my Aston Martin team principal in Prime Racing League if I can race tomorrow. And meanwhile there's battling. I didn't even see this. Rally outside for the Red Bull Aqua Minerale. Looks like there was a mistake for the Brawn. But the Brawn stays ahead. What is happening with the Brawn? He's lost a lot of time there. Just about to write an email, and they start battling like animals while I'm not looking. Meanwhile, the Ferrari and the Mercedes both battling as if it's 2017. And now, into the Ravazza corner. Do you know what? That can wait, because this battle is heating up. 2 tenths separating the top two. The Red Bull was winning this race on aggregate. I don't think that's going to satisfy him, do you? As he heads into the Tamburello chicane, it looks like he's going to do a little tango around the outside, or on the inside of Tamburello. As meanwhile, there's a Ferrari doing a tango on the exit of turn 2. As around the outside of turn 3 goes the Red Bull. Beautiful move on the Brawn. And holy moly, that looked like he was on wings. On the gravel. The Brawn on gravel instead of on wings like the Red Bull, who just set the fastest first sector while having to do some racecraft. The Ferrari being lapped, should I say, by the top two of 2009, the top two in this race. As they head into Aqua Minerale a lap after that massively mental battle. They head into the chicane again. So obviously the Red Bull doesn't want to win this race in aggregate. He just wants to win the race all. Greedy man, isn't he? Anyway, that is a racing driver though, isn't it? They're not satisfied with just like a win on the basis of this or on the basis of that. They just want to win everything, and that's the mindset of a driver. That's what motivates them. And I think let's go through, shall we? Because I was reading a book by someone who had a massive influence on me at the moment. Actually, the book can wait a minute, because the Brawn looking like he's going to catch up to the Red Bull. Is he going to make it? No, he's not. He's 2 tenths behind. Is he going to get through on the Red Bull? He's thereabouts. The Red Bull gets a twitch there. He's not going to make the most of it. But the Red Bull, he's just going to be motivated by just pulling that gap, making that number on the gap chart as high as it could possibly be. As the Mercedes in front though, all this traffic making it look like a WEC race, or an ELMS race for that matter, as the Brawn almost making contact with the rear of the Red Bull. As look at how close they are, although he's lost some time there. He's got some wheel spin in the dirty air of Lucky. So Lucky being unlucky for the Brawn at the moment, Lucky being lucky for the Red Bull. A lot of luckies, yucky. Anyway, heading through Ravazza, a bit of a clunk of the curb there for the Red Bull. Here comes Devons. Can Devons defeat the Red Bull down the straight here on lap 19? He pulls to the inside. He takes the lead back again from the Red Bull with a bit of Devon's DRS assistance. And he does take the lead of the Imola San Marino Grand Prix, although the Red Bull's not having any of it. He may have took the lead for 3 corners, but he won't take the lead for 4. He might take it for turn 5 though, as he hits into the side of the Red Bull, but he goes back down to second. The Red Bull having none of it. The Red Bull saw him go past and said, right, here, go through turn 1, 2 and 3, then that place is mine again. Absolutely just cutthroat with the Brawn, being very decisive and very great on his racecraft, similar to Lau Hem in Prime Racing League earlier on. Just the racecraft of an absolute warrior for the Red Bull. The Red Bull is missing a bit of his name. It should be called the Red Bulldozer. If you got in his way. I think that was the message that he sent to the Brawn as he went round the outside, or down the inside should I say, of the Villeneuve chicane. Gilles Villeneuve is looking at that thinking, wow, okay, this guy's something good. As 6 seconds of penalties for Devons. That's not going to dampen his spirits into Tamburello, as on the outside. Is he going to make the move that Lando did in Grand Formula? He is. He's going to force him off. The Red Bull gets back down to second place, and he will not take the lead back into the Villeneuve chicane for the time being, as the Mercedes swap places, as Lucky's in the pits with 26 seconds worth of penalties. Oh my lord, he's serving 10 seconds of those penalties now. But yeah, the Brawn doing the same move that Lando did to me in Grand Formula, which is a league that I ran with an AI class. As there's the Benetton off, the Benetton and Mistel round. As meanwhile the Rebel there, but yeah, the move that Lando did in Grand Formula, he did that same move while having a chicken nugget in his hand. That's why whenever I'm with Exact Max or with Lando, whatever name he uses now, whenever I'm with him, we always call that turn 1 chicken nugget corner for that specific move, which is being pretty much replicated by Devons, and that was great racecraft by the Brawn man. But the Red Bull man looks like that's just motivated him a bit more though. Is he going to make the move? 6 tenths separating him, but the Red Bull went from trying to make that gap as big as possible to now making that gap as small as possible. Well, he's just looking to just hassle the Brawn long enough so that the Brawn has his tyres and eventually can't pull that 6-second gap away from the Red Bull. But with approximately 42 laps to go, I could have probably got that wrong. With 42 laps to go potentially, the Red Bull and the Brawn. The Red Bull just trying to keep that Brawn from pulling even a second over him. Because if he pulls a second, he loses DRS, and then the momentum builds in Devon, and he's able to really get some momentum, get on form, and pull some laps in. But if he's stuck battling like this with a Red Bull alongside him, he's not going to be able to pull that 6 second gap. He's going to have to try and close a 6 second gap. So the Red Bull has a massive use of the inside curve there for the Brawn of Devons. Will it play out though? Doesn't look like it. Yes, it will for the moment, but with DRS, the Red Bull side by side, they accelerate to nearly 300 kilometers an hour. They're side by side, inches separating them. But into turn 1, the Red Bull makes it. They go over the sausage curbs, and the Red Bull gets out in front. Or does he? It looks like he's given the place back to Devons. Great sportsmanship here in Retro Racing League yet again for the second week in a row. Sportsmanship defined here on lap 22 in the first sector. Meanwhile, it looks like, is that battling? Yes, there is, with the Ferrari, who's battling with one of the Mercedes. Actually, no, he's just lapping a Mercedes. Oh god, that's not the best. Anyway, we have the Red Bull still behind the Brawn. The Brawn really having to defend from the Red Bull. The Red Bull though keeping him honest, keeping his car just in play, being a little nuisance to Devon. I'm sure Devon would be calling him a lot of other things at the moment. It's the number 7 Red Bull car. Number 7 last used by Kimi Raikkonen, and him being the Iceman. I reckon you could do the same thing, as Kimi Raikkonen was actually due to drive for Red Bull in 2014 or 2013 if I'm not mistaken, but that didn't end up happening. But what is ended up happening here on lap 23 is the Red Bull taking the lead into the Tamburello chicane. Great move on the outside by the Red Bull, who's left the door open though for the Brawn to go back down the inside of turn 3. No, the Brawn doesn't have the momentum, doesn't have the speed, and doesn't have the track position ahead of the Red Bull. Or does he, as he heads into Tosa? Can the Red Bull get ahead of, or can the Red Bull stay ahead of the Brawn, who goes on the grass at Tosa, and that loosens the car up and makes the car ultimately slower. The silvery white type colour on the Brawn versus the blue, yellow and red on the Red Bull throughout Minerali. And the Brawn, which kind of in a way looks like the Peugeot out of WEC, the World Endurance Championship. It looks like the Peugeot 9X8 livery if you look at it in a certain way. And the Peugeot did have a pretty decent race in the 6 Hours of Imola, battling, although it did get hampered by the Cadillacs a lot, similar to how the Brawn here is getting hampered by us, should I say. As what is it with Devons and just being involved with some of the most titanic battles I've ever seen, as he looks like he's going to go for it again, as to the inside this time and in the wall. Huge shot for the Red Bull, and the Red Bull, he lets him past, but look at the damage on the front wing of the Red Bull now. The Red Bull in the wall, that was a huge incident at nearly 300 kilometers an hour, and that Brawn nearly gave the Red Bull wings into another circle of life. That was such a massive shunt. That almost took the Red Bull back to the future. Holy moly, is I think if you had a look at the face of Devons, he's probably a bit red-faced after that one. As he's probably got guilty written all over his forehead as heading up the hill at Minerali and into the chicane, the turtle chicane. Turtles being those big yellow curbs that are such a nuisance to the driver. But yeah, we head down into, and this round again for one of the Mercedes. Is that? Yes, it is. It's a Mercedes, and it's Lucky again. Lucky going back to being unlucky. Is the Red Bull going in the pits? Yes, he is. The Red Bull in the pits. So the Brawn in the pits. What about the Ferrari behind him? The Ferrari doesn't go to the pits. So that means Mistel could catch up a bit. Not a lot, but a bit. Tin Man going wide. So into the pits for Devons and into the pits for Buyhouse. As out ahead of Buyhouse. No, nearly ahead. They come out neck and neck in the pit lane. But Buyhouse comes out ahead of the Brawl. Just dropped my headset. Oh no. As the Brawl comes out behind the Red Bull now. He nearly came out ahead, but lost out marginally to the Red Bull out the pit lane, who had to change his front wing. That's why they came out so close. Well, the Brawl going to the inside there. Not too sure we did that. As meanwhile, the Red Bull going through the Villeneuve chicane there, looking a bit wide. Looking a bit wide there, I must say. Anyway, I'm going to write this message I was going to write earlier before this great battle started. I don't know what it is about Devons, but he just finds himself in the most mental battles. Last week, it was with Matty, and it was with Mistel, and it was with Phoenix. And in a way, it was with DXR CS, but in different ways. This week, it's Buyhouse. The entire race so far. Incredible, but hopefully he can carry this form on. Because he was unfortunate to be involved in a couple of incidents with the Williams of DXR. And that cost him a couple places and put him into P4. Hopefully he can stay in P2 this time. Maybe go one step better as they head onto the straight. This message is taking a long time to write, but that's because this battle is great to watch. The Red Bull gets overtaken by the Brawn yet again. He gives them plenty of space after learning what he did on lap 24. As he heads through the Tamburello chicane, he gets a bit messy there, I must say. The Brawn gets out of shape. He looked like a pair through that chicane. But he's taken this chicane like an apple, so he's going to be able to keep the place sweet and smooth ahead of the Red Bull, who looks to the inside, scares the Brawn into a mistake, and cunningly, the Red Bull nearly got the place on Devons. That was a very cunning move, and I really like that one. As going wide on the curb again for the Red Bull, who hasn't got a penalty yet. One of two drivers to not get a penalty, who are still in the race here on lap 26. Matty also didn't have a penalty, but he has DNF sadly, which we wish him well on his lovely Saturday night. He's probably watching Saturday Night Takeaway or Top Gear, something like that. Maybe Lee Evans, he's a great comedian. As into the Ravazza corner, and Buyhouse in the Red Bull having a absolutely comedically crazy battle with Devons. This is a story for the history books. Retro racing with ridiculous racing heading into Tamburello. The Red Bull takes the lead again here on lap 27 out of the third corner. There's a Mercedes off in the gravel trap. That might be lucky. It is. Lucky back to being unlucky. And unlucky for the Brawn, who goes wide out of Tamburello. Out of the Villeneuve chicane, should I say. Not making it stick as he goes through the Ratzenberger gravel trap. Named after the fallen soul of Roland Ratzenberger. God bless his soul. As heading through Aquaminerale. Just flying through. 1.1 seconds now, the Brawn out of DRS. So that's going to take a bit longer. And he gets another penalty. He gets back within DRS, but at a cost of 3 seconds. 3 seconds more added to his time at that chicane. So he does get DRS. As DRS, if you're within a second of the car behind over that green target dot thing that's on the minimap, then you do get DRS. That yellow dot is the speed trap, which I'm not too sure who's leading it at the moment, but we head down into turn 1, 2 and 3 again. Over the curb, he nearly goes off, but he just about survives. That's yellow flag down at Tosa for the Ferrari Phoenix in P4, the place where this Brawn finished last race in Japan. But Devons trying to find a devious way past the Buyhouse Batsler of the Red Bull. As Phoenix gets a penalty, that means your race leader is the only person in this race here on lap 28 to not receive a penalty. Was that contact? Was that contact, or am I just seeing things? I thought I just saw the brawn go into the back of the Red Bull. I don't see any damage on his front wing though, so I could just be seeing things, but I'm not too sure. Anyway, we head into the Ravazza corner with the brawn and the Red Bull. They were separated by 3/10. Obviously that 9-second penalty not going to help things, but here they go on to lap 29 and the brawl to the inside. That's the closest they've been since the contact on lap 24 in terms of actually on track and nearly making contact. The brawn gets back ahead into the lead with a brave move on the inside, but can the Red Bull be braver? He thinks about it, he fakes it, the brawn reacted, and now has he just manufactured a move into Toza? No, he hasn't. Oh, he actually might have. He's looked to the inside, the low line. No, he's not going to make it stick, but he is still right on the tailgate of Devons. Whoa, and flicking it in is Devons there. That's going to put a lot of strain on his right front, and nearly contacted tackle with Mirali going deep over the sausage curbs. Can the Red Bull make a move out of this? He can. He's to the inside of the chicane. And he makes the move. What a manufactured move by the Red Bull. Beautifully set up through that entire lap. Unfortunately, he's lost DRS doing that. But would it matter? Potentially. Depends on how far of a gap he can pull. He's pulled about 7/10 now. So I reckon he should be safe from an overtake this round. From my mind, you need to be about 6/10, under 6/10 behind someone as you're opening the DRS to make the move. Actually, Devons has proved me wrong. Round the outside. Beautiful move by Devons. But will it come to anything by turn 4 as the Red Bull to the inside of the Villeneuve chicane makes the move back again to the lead of the race. The brawn tries to be brave, but is outdone by the Red Bull. And Devons has been deviously done by the Red Bull. Beautiful stuff here in Retro Racing. Retro Racing as it should be, really. Being ridiculously better than modern times. Oh, and there is contact. That was contact. And the Red Bull lets the brawn go past. There is front wing damage. That sidewall end plate on the driver's left of the brawn is damaged. Does that mean he's pitting, or does that mean he's staying out? Not either way. The Red Bull is going to have DRS this time, and if we know anything from 2023, we know that DRS can work very well on that Red Bull car. Oh, and a fake into the pits there by the brawn. That's something that I would normally do. Very cheeky. But they head into the Tamburello corner, the Red Bull to the outside. And to the lead, potentially? Yes, to the lead for now. Or not! He goes over the curbs, and he doesn't get the lead by turn 3. The brawn gets back in front of the Red Bull. Obviously not on aggregate yet, as the Ferrari's just spun. That's Phoenix having a spin just before the Villeneuve chicane. The second time he's done that today. Here, but this time he's done it here on lap 30. Heading out of the Villeneuve chicane. But heading round as there's a car off. That's the Benetton as well. The Benetton of Mistel is off. Not the best place to be parking there, sir. Meanwhile, the brawn is still ahead of the Red Bull as they head into turn 15, 16, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken. Not too sure though. But 9/10 separating the leaders now. The brawn still ahead of the Red Bull. But the Red Bull closing up a lot out of the Ravazza corner. You might actually be able to get the brawn by the end of the straight here. We're going to ride on board with the Milton Keynes-based team. And on the top of his chassis we see this T-cam. And is he able to make the move? He's not able to make it into turn 1, but the brawn gets out of shape. He takes the second corner like a pair. And he's now down into second. The Red Bull takes the lead. Nearly goes wide. The brawn still on his tail. Into Tosa. not going to make the move stick, or is he? He's trying to get the traction on the exit to outdo the Red Bull. The Red Bull says, haha, no, you're not doing that one, my friend. And stays in front. But the Brawn's saying, you're not doing that one too easily, my friend. And he's now just looking to... He's looking to find a way past that Red Bull, but he's looking to outgap him. But the Red Bull's motive at the moment is to just keep Devon near him. Keep toying with him, keep ruining his tyres, and that penalty gap shouldn't be pulled to enough. But Devon's, his intention is get ahead of Bias and then try and pull a gap on him, but he's just not able to do that. He just keeps being roped back into a battle again. Here he's gonna have to do some battling to get back ahead this time. So now I think they both might have DRS. No, they don't. The Brawn gets back ahead of the Red Bull, who's in the slipstream of the Brawn, as the Mercedes taking the Tamburello of the chicane like a pair, otherwise known as not really done, bit out of shape, not really done well, bit out of shape there for the Red Bull, dips a wheel into the gravel as if it's ketchup, and through Tozer. But again, the Red Bull, the only one without a penalty in this race, very clean. As they head through Peratella and into Aqua Minerale for the 33rd time. 30 laps to go in this race. It's been a great opening 33. Can the last 30 laps deliver the same type of goodness that the previous laps have? Because this battle's been mental. But they have gapped to about 1.5 seconds. The Brawn has done what he's needed to do all race. Got out of DRS, and now he just needs to keep growing that gap. But through Ravazza, the Red Bull is just so quick, able to close that gap to such an extent. But he doesn't have DRS, so he should be safe for now. As long as he takes Tamburello safely, he should be okay. Anyway, I'm back. So the Ferrari of Phoenix has pit, it looks like. There's wide at Peratella for the Brawn there. That might cost him a tenth or so. He's keeping the gap at 1.5, but he does need to pull something to go out over these next few laps to pull that 9-second gap over a man who hasn't got a penalty yet. But he can't. Devons has to be able to push but not exceed track limits and get a penalty again, so it's a bit of a balancing act at the moment for Devons. Can Devons dominantly pull 9 seconds, or will Devons get defeated by the Red Bull? That's Phoenix. Phoenix looks like he's lapped both Mercedes cars, and he's wide out at Peratella, nearly making a mistake there. Missed all laps. One of the Mercedes, I think that's Tim M. Whoa, round! The Red Bull round! Crucial for this race. Devons is now going to be flat to the floor, hot lap mode engaged, and he has pulled the gap. The penalty gap pulled in an absolutely horrible manner, and another car going off. This time it's the Benetton. The Benetton spins, and crucially the Red Bull spins. Lucky gets another penalty and retires from the session at the Villeneuve chicane. Chaos. I don't know if we can catch a glimpse of his car. I think we can see it just there in the background. I'm not too sure though. That could be a black dot, I'm not too sure, but crucially, the Red Bull, he's now 10.9 behind, 11 now, seconds behind the Brawn. Can the Red Bull close that 2 and a bit second gap to Devons, or has he thrown it away with that spin at the Villeneuve chicane? He's twitching as if he's streaming on Twitch. Wink wink. That is not a stable car right now. That car is as stable as a bike without a wheel, or a cow on ice. Look at him, he's drifting the car. He's almost like he's doing rallying. I'm surprised I'm surprised that M in his name doesn't stand for Michel Mouton. Just look at the way he's driving that like a Group B rally car. Look at that. If in doubt, flat out. If in doubt, look at the state of him heading through Tosa. I mean, he's done a good job at making a couple skid marks on the track, but apart from that, whoa, look at that. They're great drifts, I'll give him that, but they're not really the fastest thing in the world, are they? They're not going to help him get within 9 seconds of the guy ahead, not really, no. But, and actually, Missile. Not too sure what to make of that, to be honest. That is an absolutely awful spin for a driver who's been so on form in this race. So Devons has a absolute golden ticket to take the win today. He just needs to be dominant enough in that Brawn car to roar to the top and roar to the finish line first after 63 laps of action. So yeah, also stream-wise and for YouTube uploads and that, I might be doing Prime Racing League's F125 tier tomorrow, given the fact that Vantage Racing Team has stopped, or has delayed the V1 Season 8, which was supposed to happen tomorrow, but isn't, so I think I might try and do Prime Racing League instead. If not, I'll see if I can find something else to race them, or do. But if worst comes to worst, I don't race in anything, then I don't know, I might just come on stream and just have a little chill one, which they're always nice to do. But yeah, so it looks like the race has settled down a bit. The race has kind of gone into a bit of a hibernation period of just going around and killing time until someone makes a mistake. So 22 seconds separating the front two. Interestingly, Mistel apparently only I don't believe that. He's not 2.6 seconds behind the Red Bull, no way. Phoenix, I do believe this though. 8 seconds separating third and fourth. That could be the closest battle on track. The Red Bull round again. The Red Bull at turn 3 this time has spun. That car is looking... Well, that car's just looking... that car looking like it's on Turkey 2020 grip at the moment. Just got tackers to the back of my throat, god. Anyway, and the Red Bull nearly round again though. Struggling for traction. He's got the same amount of grip as something without grip. If that makes any sense. That probably doesn't. But yeah, not a decent race so far at the moment with that battle up front, although the Red Bull seems like he's slowly fading away from being anywhere near the win. As into the pits for the Red Bull. Does this mean Mistel gets ahead of the Red Bull? No, it doesn't. Does it mean Phoenix gets ahead of the Red Bull? No, it doesn't. Mistel a lap behind the Red Bull. So they've unlapped themselves on the Red Bull. The Red Bull still second, but now over a minute behind. Under a minute behind Devons. absolute madness for Bios, who was looking so quick in that early stage, the early half of this race. He's gone and started the second half of this race and has slowly faded away. Meanwhile, the Broad in the pits. Important. He's changing his front wing. How long is this going to take? I think Bios pitting on the lap before should undo some of the damage done from this pit stop. That is probably why he's taking the opportunity to have this pit stop now. Out the pit for the McLaren. The Brom. Heading through the Tamborough chicane for the 40th time. 13 laps to go in this race. Can the Brom just bring it home? He's got 28, 25, 23. Just under 20 seconds separating him from second place. Bios gets his first penalty of the race as well. So now Bios has to get within 6 seconds of Devons to win on aggregate. So the job getting even harder for Bios here in Imola. And meanwhile, heading through the chicane with the Brom, the Red Bull is just going out of Peratella into Aqua Minerale in about 3 to 1 now. You could see on the map that dark blue dot nearest to the red dot. And we're obviously the green arrow at the moment, being the kind of Peugeot 9X8 liveried F1 car, also known as the Brawn liveried retro racing car. Return 1, 2 and 3 though. I guess if this does look like a Brawn, any viewers of Arava may say this looks like one of his career mode cars as well, potentially. As Bios does set the fastest lap though, so that's promising signs for the Red Bull man. So, we're here at 9:52 PM British time, and I didn't even realise Lucky went on wet before his retirement. Don't know what he was thinking with that strategy. And everyone bar Mistel has made 3 stops in this race, and everyone else has gained 2 positions purely because of Lucky and Matty both DNFing. Which does help things, but also because of racecraft as well. Phoenix has lost a lot of time. There's a new fastest lap of the race by your race leader Devons, who's just gone purple throughout with a 1:16 something or other. Actually, I can get the lap up, hang on. There we go. A 1:16.5. Over a second quick, no, just under a second quicker than the, oh no! Now 3/10 quicker than the Red Bull. Oh, as you know, that should, no, that's a 1:18. I had a bit of a silly moment there. Anyway, I'm gonna take them off. No need for telemetry. We'll do like lap data. I guess that will go for fastest laps at the moment, so we'll do some lap data for a bit. Phoenix has been relapped by the Red Bull of MBUs. MBUs. Buyouts. I'll just call them buyouts. He has to do the chicane. See if the Brawn does the fastest lap again. He doesn't. 1 second. 20 laps to go here in Imola, and the Red Bull has spun at the Tamburello chicane for the second time. He didn't spin, but he did take a bit of a unoptimal line through there, took a little bit of a rally line. And he's now lost a little bit more time to the race leader there of Devons, who's 2 sets up on his fastest lap. It looks like he's going to set another belt of a lap to keep that fastest lap point for the Brawn team to help them out in the constructors. Oh, Devon's wide through turn 2 and 3. Not an optimal line there. One thing to note as well, now Phoenix is back ahead of the Red Bull, so the Red Bull's going to have to re-lap Phoenix. That means he's going to have to, but he re-lapped Phoenix earlier, so he's going to have to re-lap him. So, oh my lord, he's having to re-lap him. Oh my lord, it sounds like something out of Craig David. Gonna get rewind. Anyway. 3E1. When the crowd say ball select. Anyway, as the Red Bull of Bials re-laps Phoenix to the tune of rewind. MBY. When the crowd say ball select. Anyway. MBY, because MBY in the Red Bull driver's name. Anyway. D3V. When the crowd say ball, Brawn GP. Anyway. Not bad tunes, I must say. Anyway. Heading out to Umbrella with the Brawn. 23 seconds separating the leader from the Red Bull, and then 1 minute 10 separating the leader from everyone else. If anyone's got any, actually no, I'm gonna do Prime Racing League tomorrow probably, but that's at that's at 7. So if anyone's got any leagues that are before or after 7 till 9, feel free to invite me to one tomorrow, and I should be able to fill in to maybe commentate or even drive. Because yeah, I haven't got anything else to do, to be honest, tomorrow. Also, I'm off Monday as well, but I'm doing Grand Theft Racing League at 8 PM, so. Oh, through the gravel for the Benetton of Mistel. Phoenix still having pace to stay with the Red Bull of Mistel here in Imola, although he is a lap down from him though. And through turn 1, 2, 3. Oh, he gets loose though. The Ferrari does. Gets loose. Red Bull wide out Toza. Red Bull already closing the gap in this second sector of this lap to the leader. This Mistel now going to get relapped by the Red Bull. Devons gets a penalty for track limits again. He has to be careful because otherwise that could be a disqualification soon. As Devils and Phoenix and Mistral side by side, and Phoenix takes the podium for Ferrari. The Benetton losing the podium here on lap 47. The Ferrari has some pace. Free from the blue flags, and now he's finally pounced at the Benetton. A bit affected by traffic, I must say, but after being affected by traffic, he has now lost the podium. Has Bristol. Lewis hit. Lewis hitting trouble again. Oh no. The number 9 Benetton heading out of Aqua Raleigh into the chicane. 4 cars very close to each other. I think that's Tim N as well in this queue. Chicago Town Pizza downstairs. Might have that after this. One second, lads. They head through Aqua Minerale. Tim N's got another penalty. He's just gone wide out of Aqua Minerale. That means Phoenix and Mister were both, one of them's lapped and the other one's going to lap in him soon enough, or not, as he slides out of the chicane. I do hear the name of that chicane a lot, but I just forget the name of it all the time. I would find the name for it, but nah, I'm okay, thanks. My laptop will probably crash if I do that, so I'm gonna save the laptop some energy so that it can still be alright for tomorrow. So as we head into the Tamburello chicane for the 49th time, I have to say 50% races would probably be better, to be honest, because we got to the 50% mark basically since the Red Bulls spun. They've all just kind of been doing their own thing, and nothing's really changed, if I'm honest. So I reckon taking in 50% races into consideration would be a good plan, as nothing would change, but it would just help out, that's all. It'd just be more efficient, that's all. But anyway. Oh wow, a lot of car being used there by Mistel. Into the Ravazza complex of turn 18-19. 13 laps to go in this race. I said 13 laps earlier, I was wrong, it was 23 laps, my bad. I forgot to number. And I've now just forgot to English. Wow, cool. Anyway. Over in turn 1, 2 and 3. We're in Imola, very difficult complex. Just trying to think of more Imola stories that I have at sim racing. But I can't really think of any. I know that there was a blooper race for a league called SRC back in F123. That was funny. I was meant to commentate for that. Or was I? Oh yeah, I was. Was I? Yeah, I was. I was meant to commentate for it, yeah. But then I think I did end up commentating for it. I just, well, because my phone died midway through, didn't it? So But yeah, no, I have that on my YouTube all the way down somewhere with a pink thumbnail somewhere. So, but yeah, no, that's always fun to look at. And then ALR Season 2, that's always fun to look at. ALR Season 2 Imola. And there's, oh, Devons is out! The Brawn has crashed on the pit straight. What has he done? Oh my lord. I am speechless. The man who was in the lead for over 20 laps there consecutively has now DNF'd at the first corner of the 51st lap. What has happened to Devons? That is discombobulating me in terms of how that's possible. He's left the session, and Devons has defeated the chance of winning here in Imola. He is gonna be on a redemption arc next week. That is such a shame for Devon. That means the Red Bull will surely win the race, unless this is turning into one of them 1982 Monaco type finishes where no one wanted to win the race and everyone in the lead of the race DNF'd. But oh my lord, he's heading into turn 1 and then I just see his yellow dot on the inside of turn 1 with a yellow track near it. But now Devon's being overtaken by the Benetton and the Ferrari. Tyrrell's still a lap down from him. The Red Bull ahead and leading by a barnstorming amount, by 1 minute and 18 seconds. Over 1 minute and 18 seconds, should I say. Do we have any information on Devon and his retirement? What on earth happened to him? I am genuinely concerned for the guy. Because that is something that, like, it was on the inside of Tamburello from what I saw as well. I can't even comprehend how that's possible. Unless he like locked the brake into turn 1 or some sort of bug, I'm not too sure. Or if he just disconnected or something, I'm not too sure. Maybe it was some sort of fault on his wheel. I'm genuinely spooked by what I've just seen. He led for over 20 laps consecutively and he was never outside the top 2 since lap 2. But he's DNF'd here on lap 51 and we go on to lap 53 and he's now gonna get passed by Timman. I am shook at what I've just seen, I must say. So that does mean the Red Bull of Bajos with 10 laps to go should win, as Mistel off in the Benetton, and he doesn't DNF but he has completely separated the front wing from his car, which is not recommended. Timman looks like he's going to unlap himself from Mistel, so that's going to be nice for him. It's the Benetton here crawling back to the pits. Looks like the race has taken its toll on drivers and it's the end of the race. Mistakes are starting just to sneak in very dramatic ways in some ways. Dramatic for the Benetton as it's lost him his front wing. Dramatic, really dramatic for Devons, who is death-defyingly just disassembled his car into turn 1. But with 9 laps to go, the Red Bull in the lead ahead of the Ferrari. Devons in a I think Devons would get points though, wouldn't he? Because he's completed over 75% of the race. So he should get points for P5. So, yeah, so Devon's getting 4th and 5th. The Red Bull has spun and the Ferrari spun! The leader's spinning! What has happened here? The Villeneuve chicane, for the 54th time, has caught out the first 2 drivers that have entered it. Not too sure what happened there. It looks like they started to do their donuts early there or something. I'm not too sure. But the Red Bull having a bit of a rotation there. The Ferrari having a bit of a frenzy slide for whatever reason. Tillman hasn't had the same thing happen to him. Don't know about Missile. I don't know if he's going to end up spinning at the Villeneuve chicane. Mistakes, absolutely just walking in, bursting into the scene here. With 9 laps to go. Keep it on the road, lads. Holy moly. It's heading out of Ravazza and into the pits for the Red Bull. What happens to the Ferrari? He stays out. Now, why is the Red Bull pitting? What's the Red Bull pitting for? A little clunk on the wall there. Soft tyres for the Red Bull. He's going for the fastest lap. Now, does Devons already have the fastest lap? He doesn't. He's about 3 tenths off it. He's looking to go for a bit of a... Ooh, he can't get a Grand Slam because he didn't get pole position, but he's going to get as close as he can to a Grand Slam. As round again at the Villeneuve chicane is the Ferrari. And what in the name of pizza has happened at that Villeneuve chicane? Because that Ferrari round twice consecutively on 2 consecutive laps. Let's see if the Red Bull has the same fate behold him. He doesn't. He's on the soft tyres, looking to do a bit of a quali run with 8 laps to go in this race. So the Red Bull flying round Piratella on a, I guess you could call this his installation lap to his quali sim type lap for the end of this race to take the fastest lap point away from the Brawn, which I still can't believe what I have just seen. Of all the you can never expect anything out of you can never. One of the best things about motorsport is that you can never predict what's going to happen. You can never really expect what's going to happen. But some things catch you out. And Devon's going out has definitely caught me right out of bounds. And actually, something momentous has just happened. Phoenix has gone through the Villeneuve chicane. And as you can see, he hasn't gone off there. And that deserves a round of applause. He's gone through the Villeneuve chicane, and after 2 laps of trouble through there, he does make it through the Villeneuve chicane unharmed. Let's hope he can keep that going and keep that number 12 Ferrari pointing in the right direction for the last couple laps of this race. But wow. Well, one of the cliches of motorsport, famously said by Murray Walker, is anything can happen in motorsport, and of course it usually does, but I wouldn't have expected Devons to retire. And I wouldn't have expected the Red Bull to have gone round earlier on and given the Brawn of Devons a massive gap. And I also wouldn't have expected the Ferrari. Is the Ferrari going to make it through the Villeneuve chicane? Or is he going to do it? He's done it! Another round of applause. So he hasn't got a skill issue. He just had a bit of a brain fade there. Oh, he nearly went round through Tozer though. Keep it steady, lad. There's the Ferrari. The Rosso Corsa Red heading up the hill. The clothing sponsored covered. What am I talking about? The green car. Known as the Ben of the Ettons, heads into the Tamburello chicane through what me and Exact Max would call chicken nugget corner, that's what it's called. Meanwhile, the Red Bull ahead of the Mercedes of Tim M heading into the chicane. Can the Mercedes, can the Red Bull, should I say, hold on and not end up DNFing or making any mistakes? He has a couple laps to go. He has about 5-6 laps to go in this race. 6 laps actually to go. He'll have 5 in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now he goes over the line. He has 5 laps to go in this race. And if he can complete those 5 laps, and what is he doing? He's weaving on the straight here. I think he's trying to do tyre temperature, but if that's what caught out Devons, that would explain why he DNF'd. But I am still really confused on why he DNF'd earlier on. As through toes off the Red Bull of M. Bials. Thank you everyone who's watched so far as well. Really appreciate the viewings at the moment, and all the positive comments and chats as well. Very uplifting. So thank you again from this race and from previous races as well. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I hope I could do this more for you all. Yeah, some great action here today in retro racing of the Red Bull's round. I've just seen the Red Bull round. It doesn't really matter a lot because he's like 80 years ahead of everyone else, a minute ahead of everyone else to be exact. But and he's off again. He's broken his front wing. What has he done? I was busy trying to check my PC tabs, my laptop tabs, and the Ferrari, he's off at the VLF chicane again. I look away from the screen for like 2 seconds and alimony kicks off. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. As heading up to Peratella, I'm gonna have to keep my eye on this Ferrari so that he doesn't go off again as the pit-stricken Red Bull. I think he's heading out pit lane now. So the Ferrari's actually going to catch up a lot here. It has been a crazy race. It's not been like a chaotic race, as in action hasn't happened all the time, but it has been one where you kind of want to look away, but then when you do look away, wow, something's happened. And that's really what's happening at the moment. With 4 laps to go though, I would say I don't expect much to happen, but I'm going to hold my tongue on that one because knowing this race, I'll look away from that screen and all 4 cars will be at Monza upside down, so I don't know what to expect, but under 30 seconds separating the leaders now. So that will be something to keep an eye on. As we have a tag. Oh, I've been tagged in Prime Racing League. Can I send my stream from today? I can. Yes. Hang on, I need to message someone. Yes, I can just finishing comms. Alright, so heading through the chicane. Cheers, Lauham. Actually, I need to just tell that. Oh no, I've dropped the keyboard. Drop a keyboard. Whoops. Yeah. Also, I'm just gonna tell Lauham. If you watched the stream earlier, watched Lauham battling me earlier. If you saw his move on the outside of turn 9 as Matty leaves the session, if you saw his move on the outside of turn 9 in the Australia race earlier, he was the McLaren that went round the outside of me at turn 9. That was a great move, and I still can't believe he pulled it off, so I'm just going to let him know that how good it was. As the Ferrari heads out of the Tamburello chicane here on lap 61, the Red Bull being the class of the field, as if it's 2023 all over again. Or 2013 all over again. I don't know what it is about years with the number 3 in them, but the Red Bull seems to be able to dominate them, bar 2003. But yeah, 2013 and 2023, very dominant years for Red Bull. Over the line to start the penultimate lap for this Imola Grand Prix here in Retro Racing, here in Formula 1 24, the EAF 124 game, also developed originally by Codemasters. So yeah, it would be cool if we had like a retro racing, but for like sports cars in Le Mans. I don't know if you could do that on a Assetto Corsa or on actually I don't know, or maybe like a GT league on Assetto Competizione. I'm not too sure, but I've never really done a Competizione league because you have to buy all the tracks for it. But yeah. So we're nearly on to the final lap here with the Red Bull. Let's have a little chat about the Red Bull, shall we? See, Buyhouse very on the case of Devins through the first 33 laps of the race, and then he kind of fell off after a couple spins and mistakes crept in the latter half of the race, but luckily he had the gap to Phoenix and to Mistel to be able to keep the second place. And then obviously Devon's having that obscure retirement that no one saw coming, not even someone with the best Specsavers glasses ever. So yeah, the Red Bull able to capitalise from that, and after a couple spins, notably one with the Ferrari at the Villeneuve chicane, which kind of looked comical. This Red Bull has been on form for the ages here in Imola. The Red Bull, it doesn't look like it's been on wings. It looks like an eagle born with wings. But heading into the chicane here, this Red Bull's been flying, and unlike Mark Webber, it hasn't been flying in an unhealthy flipping type way where it's hit the back of a Caterham in 2010 Valencia. Instead, it's flying in the way of its pace, and it comes into the final two corners. MBY Owls comes out of the final corner, and the Red Bull wins again. Here in Retro Racing, for the first time, the Red Bull takes the win. Here in Retro Racing, capitalising on the downfall of Devons, who DNF'd under despicable circumstances that I am yet to find out. But then comes the Ferrari, who after a pretty decent race had a bit of a sloppy start, comes back to finish runner-up here in Retro Racing's San Marino Grand Prix. Then comes Mistel, the whistle. He's been clean as a whistle by his couple corner cutting penalties at the moment, and a few little dips in the grass here and there, but all in all, it's been a massive step up on Japan for Mistel. So blow your whistle, have a cheer. Lewis hits, gets over the line, and takes P3, and now can go into the pits, go to the cool down room, and drink some gin. Meanwhile, we have Timen taking the last step on the finishing order without a DNF on his name. Timen in the Mercedes, congrats to you on 4th. And Timen actually gets driver of the day as well, so very nice for Timen. That's a very nice race for the winner, obviously, the Dutchman of the Red Bull. Very fitting that it's a Dutch Red Bull winner. I don't know about you. Yeah, he very fortunate, I must say, to see the Braun go out, but also very talented and able to capitalise from it. And also able to, also that racecraft as well that he had, it was so majestic. It was almost like magic out of Harry Potter. So, and he does get the fastest lap as well. So, it's an absolutely abominable performance here from the Red Bull of Bials. He finishes in first, nearly 20 seconds ahead of Phoenix. Oh, over 20 seconds, over 30 seconds ahead of Phoenix in the Ferrari. But Phoenix in the Ferrari was able to beat the Benetton of Missile, who was able to beat both Mercedes in his pit stop frenzy from earlier in the race. Tim finishes the race bar with the most penalties applied to him. Then Devons. I'm so sad for him. Hopefully he can redeem himself next week. Then comes Lucky, who wasn't that lucky. Then comes Matty, who had a Jordan jarring incident to end his race early after some struggles. So, that was Imola. That was the San Marino Grand Prix for Retro Racing. I hope you all enjoyed it. And I'll see you all in the next stream. See you all later. And I'll see you... Yeah. Any last words in chat before I end the stream? Any last words in chat? Don't want to go again. I'm okay, thanks. Yeah, do you know what? Should we do the 24-hour Le Mans just like right now? Just because why not? Hello, Rappy. Great win, friends. Great win, my friends. Very. There's Lewis hit as well, hitting a massive massive improvement compared to Japan. Very nice to see him back on form. Just paid £39 for premium to... Yeah, nah, let's just pay £183 million and just get Le Mans Ultimate and do like a 43 year long Le Mans. Yeah, that'll do. Or you could go to Brands Hatch and do the Enduro Car 500.